Hey everybody, hola, hola, buenos días, buenas tardes or buenas noches. Soy Alexis Verde y soy tu maestra para hoy, para estas lecciones de español. So I'm Alexis and I'll be your teacher for today for these beginner lessons, beginner Spanish lessons, right? Entonces, en este video, so in this video, we're gonna learn, vamos a aprender sobre, let's learn about some conversation starters, right? So that when you first meet someone, you are able to converse and exchange different ideas and thoughts and questions and answers and stuff like that. So, first, let's learn how to say what's your name. So, to say what's your name, there's two ways. Hay dos maneras. So you can say, ¿Cómo se llama? Like, ¿Cómo se llama? Like, how are you called, basically. How are you called? ¿Cómo se llama? Or you can say, ¿Cuál es tu nombre? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? Which is your name? So that literally means which is your name. So, ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? And which is your name? And then to respond, you can say, I don't know why I'm looking at this. I don't to respond just to make sure I stay on track. But to respond, I'm sorry guys. To respond, you're gonna say, Me llamo blank blank blank. So in Spanish, you don't have to say es. Like in Spanish, es does mean is, but in this context, it's not necessary. So you would just say, someone says, ¿Cómo se llama? Me llamo Ale. Like in Spanish speaking countries, I'm called Ale. So, ¿Cómo se llama? Me llamo Ale. ¿Cómo se llama? Me llamo Katie, whatever. And then if you want to ask someone where they're from, you can say, ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? So that literally translates to, from where are you? So from where are you? Like, where did you come from, basically? ¿De dónde eres? And to respond, you would say, soy, so I am, from, so soy de Los Ángeles, soy de California, soy de los Estados Unidos. That's the United States. Los Estados Unidos, soy de. So I'm from, because de means of, and it also means like from. And then if you want to ask someone how old they are, ¿Cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos? How many? ¿Cuántos años tienes? Do you have? Tienes comes from tener, which means to have. So you're conjugating tener into the to form. Yo tengo, tú tienes, él, ella, he, she, tiene, nosotros tenemos, we have, etc., etc. And then if you want to say, okay, good to meet you, pleased to meet you, you could say mucho gusto, which is just like basically saying like, oh, it's a pleasure, like it was a pleasure. Like when you're leaving someone, you can just say mucho gusto. Or you can say un placer conocerte. So it's a pleasure to know you, basically. Un placer. Placer means pleasure. And that's what I love about Spanish. There's so many cognates, and cognates are basically words that sound exactly the same, or not exactly the same, but very similar in English and in Spanish. So what else do we have? So if you're speaking with someone in Spanish and they're speaking kind of fast, you can ask them to slow down and say despacio, por favor, or like puedes hablar un poquito más despacio. So that long sentence is, can you speak a little slower, a little slowly, or you can just say despacio, por favor. They'll know what you're talking about. So if you want to ask someone how do you say something, you would say ¿Cómo se dice? So how is it said, basically, or how do they say? ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice house? Casa. ¿Cómo se dice makeup? Maquillaje. Cool. Alright, so if you're asking someone where they're going, you can say ¿A dónde vas? ¿A dónde vas? So the a in front of donde basically means to. Like, so to where are you going? Vas comes from, what does that come from? Ir? Yeah. Ir or venir? No, yeah, ir. So you're just conjugating it in the to form. So where are you? ¿A dónde vas? Or if you're saying, where are we going? Like y'all are just walking in a group. ¿A dónde vamos? To where are we going? And then if you want to respond, you can say voy a. So I am going a. The a means to, right? So voy a la tienda. I'm going to the store. Voy a el centro comercial. The mall. Is that how you say mall? Yeah. Centro comercial. Voy a la biblioteca. I'm going to the library. Voy a mi casa. I'm going to my house. If you want to ask someone what time it is, you would say, ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? What hour is it? ¿Qué hora? Hora means hour. If you want to ask someone if they have siblings, you can say, ¿Tienes hermanos? ¿Tienes hermanos? ¿Tienes hijos? Hijos is children. Hermanos, hijos. And so here's a rule to know in Spanish that will come in handy. But if you have, let's say you have a group of, let's say you have some siblings. You have 7 siblings. 4 of them are boys and 3 of them are girls. So because you have boys in the group is going to take on the hermanos, which means siblings, hermanos. But if it was, let's say you're a girl and you have all girl siblings, it would be hermanas. And if it's all boys, it's going to be hermanos, of course. So if there's just a mixture of people, it's going to take on the masculine, which is the O, basically. So if you have hijos, you can say, like, I don't have kids, but let's say I did have kids. I could say, yo tengo 3 hijos. Now, if I said that to someone, they would need to know, oh, do you have boys and girls or only boys? Because if I said yo tengo 3 hijas, it's automatically known that it's only girls that I'm talking about. Did my iPad just die? I think it did, but that's okay. Está bien. Todo bien. Because we're basically at the end of this video. So those are some conversation starters. Or if you want to say, ¿Cuántos hijos tienes? How many children do you have? Just like, ¿Cuántos años tienes? How many years do you have in your life? But yeah, so ¿Cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos hijos tienes? Which is children. ¿Cuántos hermanos tienes? How many siblings do you have? Yeah, or also another one could be like ¿Dónde nació? ¿Dónde nació? Like, where were you born? And I think that's like it. Obviously, to say bye, you can say adios or hasta luego, which means until later. Like, literally, hasta means until, and then luego is later. Or you can say hasta mañana, which means until tomorrow. Mañana means tomorrow, and it also means morning. So, like in the morning. En la mañana, in the morning. So, hasta mañana or hasta luego or hasta pronto. You can say hasta pronto, which means I'll see you soon. Pronto means soon. Like, yeah, so pronto means soon. Or you could also say like hasta, or nos vemos pronto, which means we will see each other soon. Or nos hablamos pronto, so which means we will talk soon, or like talk soon, like talk to you later. Nos hablamos luego, you know, like luego means later, pronto means soon, mañana is morning, of course, and hasta just means until. So when you say like hasta la vista, I'm sure y'all have heard of that. Hasta la vista, that's just like, la vista means the view. So I guess that's just like, you know, like an idiom, how some things don't translate literally, but hasta la vista, it's just like until the next view of you, I guess. Like sometimes and I used to get caught up in trying to translate things from English to Spanish like perfectly, like literally, but we can't assume that, and we can't just make English the standard for like correct way of speaking, because there's all types of ways to say different things, you know, like and different ways to convey basically what you're trying to express. So but that's it for this video. I pray that it serves you and that you were able to understand and like the pronunciation and everything. Just go ahead and repeat the words and watch the video a few times. I watch a lot of language videos, and I like have memorized them. I watch them so much. So repetition is key. Repetición, right? Es la clave. Repetición es la clave. You need to like go over things again and again, and maybe write it down, and definitely say it to yourself out loud so you can hear it and so that you can practice the pronunciation yourself. So thank you. That's all for this video, episode 3. Look out for episode 4 coming up soon. Peace.